Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Fantasy Friday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Necronominous Waves Sir Adalric. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. And let's bring it right on in here. You can see the usual suspects of mythiclegions.com, sourcehorseman.com, storehorseman.com, hole right here if you want to display stuff on a peg. And then you've got the logo for the Four Horsemen that they use on Mythic Legions. Then, of course, it's in collector's packaging, so if you want to pack all this stuff back up after you take it out, you can do that, or just leave it in there. That's your thing, whatever, but you can put it back in the packaging. So that's, that's a neat option. Mythic Legions on the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print, made in China print. Websites you can visit. Warning! Don't stick things in your pie hole that don't belong there, and don't give this stuff to babies. Barcode right there. And then here on this side, it tells you he's the Order of Etherion. On this side, it's got a little bio for him. It says Sir Adalric. If you want to pause it right here and read through all that stuff, you can do it. Or mythiclegions.com. You can read it all on there as well. Here we have that nice Necronominous Wave artwork. Four Horsemen, it says right there. Here is the cross sail. And then here's some more text. If you want to read through all that, you can pause it right here and do so. And then down here we have the credits. And over here, to see the entire collection, please visit mythiclegions.com. Which, if you're getting into this line, I do recommend that you do. And that does it, my friends, for a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers to help us with the smaller bits and bobs, including his extra set of hands. And of course, armored hands, nice silver paint for it, maybe a little bit of a wash on there. Very nice looking. These are on up and down hinges. The set that's on the figure are on the in and out hinges. So, very cool. I'm glad that they were getting those up and down hinges. So here we have his, I guess it's a war mace of some kind, a mace of some kind. So we have seen this before when we covered the Armory Experience Knights. Not necessarily in these colors though. It's got a nice silver base for it, and then it's got these gold or bronze fins and rings on it, and there's some rings in there, and then these bladed fins, and then here the cap as well. So I like that. It's pretty cool. Then we have his spear, which is a little bit different. The point of it is a little bit different. The shaft might be different too than some of the others we've seen before, but it looks like it's a gunmetal silver with like glittery bits in it, and then we've got this gold or bronze bit here for the handle, or I guess it's a handle, and then this bit here. There's a bit of a wash on the spearhead and this ring and this area right here as well. So pretty cool looking piece, very long spear. So next up we have his shield, and it's got a cross in the center of it, and it's painted gold, and then it's got a white and a white here, and a blue here. At least I think it's blue. I'm colorblind. Please don't make fun of handicapped people. And there we have like a darker blue. Well, it looks blue to me anyway. So, and then some silver rivets around here, gold all the way around, gold for everything but the rivets, and the painted piece in the center. And it looks, you know, like hammered in here on the cross, and then it's smooth around the edges, just gold on the back. You can see there's the post right there where one of two handles ports in, and we'll talk about this right now. We have the C-clip one that just kind of clips around his wrist, and it's got a port in it right there, and it just goes over that post, and it's adjustable, so you can put it at different angles if you like. And then here's what I like to call the standard shield handle for Mythic Legions. It's got this nice textural molded detail in there for some grip, and then the port there, and the post here. And again, it's adjustable, so you know, he can hold it like that if you want, or you know, however you desire to put it. It's a very nice looking piece. Next up we have his plumes for his helmet, and it fits in the one that's on the figure now, or the spare one. And you can see it's like a dark blue and a light blue, at least that's the way it looks to me. And nice molded details, and very, very feathery plume looking. Next up, he does have like one of the shoulder belts for weapon storage. It's got some nice gold details on it. The buckle, the rivet, or not the rivets, but the rings there, rivet there. Looks like it's got a wash in it to help that textural, leathery detail stand out. And gold there and there. So nothing we haven't seen before. We've seen that plenty of times. Here we have his knife, or his dagger, or his dirk, or okay, maybe not quite a dirk. So looks like it's probably molded in this color. I could be wrong. And then it's got this gold or bronze with the button on the end of it for the end cap, and then at the opening it's got some more gold there. And then as far as the dagger goes, silver for the blade, some gold or bronze for the handguard and the pommel, and the handle here is like, I guess, brown. I'm guessing it's brown, but it looks like it might have a bit of a wash in there as well. Camera is not wanting to focus on it. So there's that, and it just fits right down in there, and you can see it goes in there better than swords do. It's actually shaped to fit the daggers better. Here is an extra neck piece with a ball and hinge. So I'm not sure if this is to put the other head on and just swap the entire neck pieces out, or if you're supposed to use this maybe with another figure. But most of the other figures that have the swappable pieces like this already have the ball and hinge, I believe. So I'm not sure. I guess maybe it's just to make it easier when you go to swap heads. Perhaps maybe there's a difference in it I'm just not seeing. So let's take a look at the alternate head, and you can see it's shattered right there. I don't know if an arrow, or well, it looks like maybe something slashed across there, but it's got a nice silver base, and it's got these gold trims on it, and there's where the plume would go. But with this one being a damaged head, I would have liked to have seen it like a damaged plume. That would have been cool. So, and then one of the things about this is it does open up, and it does reveal a skull. So, does Sir Adalric come to a bad end in that final battle with Necronominus? But this piece does come off, and this faceplate is swappable, so you can put that face. The other helmet is exactly the same as this, except for this visor piece. So if you wanted to put that face on this helmet to give it, you know, the damaged look, that's something you could do. So that's interesting, I think. So, but there is, and then the skull does have, you know, some damage on it here that kind of matches up with what's going on here, and nice washes and stuff throughout it, just to help those decayed details stand out. So, last accessories are his shoulder armors, and they're a bit ornate. More ornate than, say, Sir Elijah or Sir Enoch. Maybe not so ornate as Sir Gideon Heavensbrand or even Sir Ubzak. So, but I do like them. They do have like these feathered bird features here to, I guess, honor Ethrion. And they're done up in gold, and then we've got some gold trim over silver, and then here we've got some gold with some silver trim on it on this piece. And just overall a nice cool looking little piece, and this one is the same, just for the opposite side. Well, I say it's the same, and then I told a story, because look, that badge right there is not the same, and it's rotatable. So there's the badge for the Order of Ethrion on this side, so that's pretty cool. And then maybe that piece is different on the back. Yeah, so they're not, well, looks like they're the same except for these buttons. So he's got this kind of ornate button here, and then he's got this ornate Order of Ethrion shield on the other side. So that's cool that he's not completely matching up on both sides. So now let's take a look at the figure itself, and we'll start off with the face there. And I have to say, it's pretty standard looking, almost said Middle Earth, Mythic Legions face. So he's got eyebrows, eyes, maybe a little bit of color on the lips, but overall, you know, a nice, crisp, clean paint apps there. And again, this ring right here is removable, as well as the faceplate. You can see right there. So there is that. We'll close this down, and then we've got that same silver base with the gold trims on it. Here's where the plume goes. He's got this blue and white going on, and you can actually see his face pretty well there behind his mask. So he has a pretty good bit of vision there, and no soft goods up on the top, just here at the bottom, and they are wired soft goods. And he's silver, and he's got gold rivets and gold highlights throughout the armor, and pretty plain from the waist down, it looks like. He's got some, you know, bits for the buckles and stuff on his belt, along with some nice textural details, but I don't think there's a wash on this belt. I could be wrong. So overall, very nice looking armor. So let's take a look at his articulation, and it's wanting to be weird here at the neck. So he can look up that high with that ball and hinge, and then of course it got, you have to watch out for that. They will turn. He can look down that far. He's got some chicken neck. He's got some, wow, a lot of waggle. 360 degrees worth of rotation at the arms, 360 degrees worth of rotation, and he can raise his arm up that high, not quite 90 degrees. Single hinge and swivel at the elbow, swivels around 360 degrees. gives you, well, approximately a 90-degree bend. This piece is separate, and it does rotate itself, and there is some rotation in the wrist as well on, as I mentioned before, in and out hinge, and then in and out hinge on this side as well. Ball joint or half dumbbell here at the waist. It gives him all kinds of hula, 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 and he can lean left and right. He can lean back that far. He can lean forward that far and rotate 360 degrees there as well. At the hips, he can give you the full splits. He does kick forward approximately 90 degrees. Might be a little better than 90, I don't know, but it's close to 90. So he can kick backwards about one length of his own foot. Where the hip piece and the leg armor meet, there's a rotation there. Single hinge and swivel at the knee, and it swivels around 360 degrees, and it gives you slightly better than 90 degrees worth of bend, it looks like. So at the ankle, where it pins into the leg, there's a straight pin up in there. So the foot will rotate 360 degrees. Tilts down that far at the ankle. Tilts up that far at the ankle. I don't know what I'm... And then forward facing pin for rocker. Now, as far as gearing this guy up, you know, you've got belts and stuff you can put on him if that is your desire. Swap heads. But let's start with the shoulder armors. We've got these bits right here in the back. So that piece just pops right in there. And this piece pops right in there. And this is adjustable, so you can make that go any way you want to, I suppose. So there is that. The plumes plug into this port on the back of the head. You can open that up if you want to. And then as far as his other weapons go, he either holds them in his hand. I guess he can put this dagger here. If I can get it in there. Alright, so he's got his dagger there. He can hold his shield in his hand. You can either put the shield in his hand, you can give him his spear, you can give him his mace. And, you know, straighten it all up and stuff. And there you have it, my friends, a look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Necronominous Waves Sir Adalric with the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Necronominous Waves Sir Elijah and the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Legion Builder Wave 1's Dark Templar Legion Builder. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Necronominous Waves Sir Adalric, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee from G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander from Star Wars The Black series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper, And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Necronominous Waves Sir Adalric, I have to say, you know, I like this guy more than I thought I was going to. I do like the fact that he comes with the alternate head with the skull faceplate in it, but also that you can swap between those two heads if you want the regular face and the damaged helmet. However, you know, so I think that's a cool option. And the way, you know, the helmet pulls, the front of the helmet pulls off, then you can get to the faceplate and swap those out. So I think that's cool. I like the look of his plumes. I don't know that I have a knight that has plumes like that already, but anyway, I think they're cool looking. I think they're a good match to his armor colors. Even though they're not, you know, it's not white and blue, it's blue and blue. Or at least it looks blue and blue to me. A little disappointing that he didn't have soft goods, you know, on the torso piece. But also, sometimes that can be a blessing in disguise. As much as I love wired soft goods, sometimes they do just get in the way. But not for capes and stuff like that. Just, you know, torso type stuff. It's like Sir Elijah and I was going to say Sir Eldorado, but that's not his name. Sir Enoch, at least I had it was in the E. You know, I had some adjustments to make on those guys for their shoulder armors because, you know, holes weren't lining up properly. So, but you know, that's beside the point. I did get them fixed. It wasn't an issue. Really, it was just something I had to do. So, some people might call that an issue. I don't know. But I like this guy's spear. I would have liked for him to come with a sword as well. But, you know, at least this guy gets to put his dagger in his belt. Most of my other knights don't. The ones that come with swords usually don't. So, but, you know, I like this guy. I like the colors. I like the shoulder armor pauldron pieces that are different. Like he's got a round piece on one side, and then he has the shield for the Order of Etherion on the other side. I think that's neat. And the fact that you can turn them to face whatever way you want them to. I really like that. The range of motion on the guy is, you know, it's pretty much standard for Mythic Legions armored dudes. So there is that. But I do like, you know, he has a bit fancier shoulder armor pieces than some of the other guys, and I guess that's due to his, you know, he's from a rich family or what have you. But, you know, I like that. They're not nearly as ornate as Sir Gideon Heavenbrand's 2s from the same wave, and which it shouldn't. You know, he should be the most ornate dude because he's the head of their order. So not necessarily going into battle like that, but, you know, when he's showing off, I guess, being his full regalia. So, but all in all, I have to say, I like this guy. I'm not, at least so far, experiencing any kind of QC issues, and I sometimes do, especially with ankles on these guys, I'm noticing. So, as of so far, no QC issues, but, you know, that could change. Some of those ankle joints can wear over time, I suppose. But I guess if they do, I could squirt some Minwax in there and see what happens. But All in all, I like this guy. If you like knights, if you like the Order of Etherion, you're probably going to want this dude. And especially a spear. I like this. The spear on this is different than most of the other spears that I've seen in the line. And I'm glad they are changing it up a little bit. So, there's that. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.